I'm Jamie McDonald. Join me as we celebrate small businesses that make New York so unique. These New York Originals. Yorkville on the Upper East Side used to be one of the largest immigrant neighborhoods in America. Looking around there today, you'd hardly know it. That old world has been gone for decades, but some of it still survives. Like this place, Orwashers Bakery, been perfecting the fine art of bread making since 1916.
The bread is extraordinary. That's bottom line. Bottom line, the bread has always been extraordinary.
Walking by Orwasher's Bread on East 78th Street, you could possibly think it gets on by its looks. For this little shop screams quaint old New York, from the ornate tiled floor to its tight shelves packed with visually appealing bread. But it is there you realize this is a first-class bakery. For below this tiny shop is a fully equipped bread factory, baking some of the finest breads in the United States.
In New York City, as far as I know, you don't have a bakery set up like this. This is very much reminiscent of the old European-style bakeries. You know, supermarkets, they're great, but there's nothing like coming into a small bakery with freshly baked product, and you get to know everyone here, you get to know the product, and there's a certain romance.
And as you've probably guessed, Orwasher's Bread is more than just something to put some meat and cheese between.
Well, Orwashers, being around for almost 100 years, is the original New York City artisan bakery. Part of what we do here is all our breads are handmade as opposed to machine-made. And we also use a lot of local ingredients. Currently, we're selling over 100 different types of breads from 18 different dough types. The store now has its classic Orwasher breads, which are derived Eastern European. You have your great rye and your pumpernickels and your cinnamon raisin. In the other section of the store, we've created the Oven Artisan line. It's a meld of a lot of different artisan European breads, some of them being the wine breads and the grain products and some of the other great stuff that we've worked on here.
Orwashers was founded in 1916 by its namesake, Abraham Orwasher.
Part of the reason that I bought it was the rich history of the bakery. The breads here were known throughout the whole city as some of the best breads. I was lucky enough to still have one of the original brick ovens preserved here. It's a stone hearth oven, so the heat transfers directly from a very hot stone, and that's why you're able to develop not only the crust, but a lot of the flavor because of the caramelization process during the baking process. When I first took over, there were many, many loyal customers that have been purchasing breads here for 20, 30, 40 years. And when they saw my face, instead of the previous owner, they wanted to know what I was going to do to the place. So it's taken me a good 2 years to develop that trust. At the same time, a lot of the new product we've created here has attracted a whole new customer base.
And anyone who's tried it knows, bread making is not child's play. One of the reasons most of us leave it to the professionals. For the uninitiated, bread making begins with the starter, the DNA, if you will, of bread.
A starter is a natural form of fermentation. It is flour and water that's allowed to sit for a certain period of time that captures the natural yeast in the air, and it begins to ferment. The hard thing about starters are it needs to be fed almost like a baby. It needs to be scheduled and fed a correct amount of new flour and water on a daily basis.
And with one of Orwasher's starters, you are literally tasting old New York.
One of the starters we have downstairs has been looked after for almost 100 years. So currently in our rye bread, we've been able to maintain that starter, and it's part of the reason why our rye bread is so great. Right now we're in the bakery portion of Orwashers. Today, for instance, we're going to make over 2,000 loaves of bread here. One of the key ingredients in making an awesome artisan bread product is the starter, as we spoke about earlier. So here's the example of one of our wine starters. This one was done using the Cabernet grapes from the vineyard. The starter then gets added to the rest of the flour, water, and other ingredients in order to mix the breads for approximately 12 to 15 minutes, and then let it rest in the buckets for approximately 2 hours before shaping. As it rests, you're getting gas formation in it. The dough is relaxed. Otherwise, what you'd have is a very just tight bread. It would be almost impossible to shape. Right now, the dough has rested and proofed inside the buckets, and it's actually being cut to weight and shaped. If this were done by a machine, you would be degassing the dough, and you'd be damaging the intricate cell structure of the dough. Now that they've been shaped, it's going to go for its final rest before it gets baked. This is a more modern deck oven that's steam injected, but we do it in a very old school fashion by hand loading it through with a peel. We could bake hundreds of breads at the same time here.
Then ready for your dinner table or alone as a snack. And as Keith continues to perfect his breads, he is now also offering other artisan products.
I want to be a source, a vehicle for them to be able to sell their goods here as well, because I think it completes the whole store. And it, again, all goes with my breads. And each day we're trying to do better and better here. And for all the people that are watching, you know, we're going to be coming out with some of the best breads I want in the whole country.
Orwasher's bread is now being sold in other retail establishments, including Gourmet Garage, Dean and DeLuca, and Zabar's.